Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for May 28th, 2021. Breitbart News reports, Senator Fauci committed perjury over gain-of-function comments related to Wuhan Lab. Senator Rand Paul claimed that Dr. Anthony Fauci committed perjury over his gain-of-function comments related to Communist China's Wuhan Lab.
Senator, you introduced an amendment that would ban the funding of gain-of-function research in China. You've also had that vibrant exchange with Dr. Fauci about this a couple of weeks ago, where he told you that NIH does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. So did Dr. Fauci, do you believe he perjured himself in front of Congress on this issue? If so, why?
Absolutely. He lied to the American people. There was gain-of-function research going on with this Dr. Shi Zhengali at the Wuhan Institute.
The allegation of perjury comes after Paul questioned Fauci regarding the Wuhan lab on May 12th.
Senator Paul, with all due respect, you are entirely and completely incorrect that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Do they fund Dr. Barrick?
But on May 26th, Fauci admitted that, quote, there's no way of guaranteeing American taxpayer money he routed to the Wuhan Virology Lab didn't fund gain-of-function research.
Dr. Fauci, I believe you have testified that you didn't give any money to the Wuhan Lab to conduct gain-of-function research. Is that right?
That is correct.
How do you know they didn't lie to you?
Excuse me, sir?
How do you know they didn't lie to you and use the money for gain-of-function research anyway?
Well, we've seen the results of the experiments that were done and that were published, and that the viruses that they studied are on public databases now. So none of that was gain of function. So
how do you know they didn't do the research and not put it on their website?
There's no way of guaranteeing that, but in our experience with grantees, including Chinese grantees, which we've had interactions with for a very long period of time, they're very competent, trustworthy scientists. I'm not talking about anything else in China. I'm talking about the scientists.
An article from the Daily Caller reports, Debunked Bunkum. Poorly aging highlight reel shows Trump critics mocking lab leak theory. Grabien founder Tom Elliott released a supercut video on Wednesday that showed a series of media personalities dismissing the possibility that the novel coronavirus leaked from a lab.
The best evidence suggests that the kind of bat from which this virus jumped to humans wasn't even present there.
But you know the worst of all, whether it came from the lab or came from the bats it all came from China.
Because we don't know where the novel coronavirus came from yet, the conspiracy theories fill the void.
I'm telling you, the Chi-Coms are trying to weaponize this thing.
Conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh with zero proof, suggesting a Chinese bioweapon lab is to blame.
This question about the Wuhan lab, we know that it's been debunked.
Those same agencies now have been tapped with investigating one of Trump world's most favorite conspiracy theories.
This week, Donald Trump is still pushing the debunked bunkum, despite his own intelligence community's findings that is simply not true.
And there is simply no reason to believe that is the case. There is no empirical evidence to verify that.
Coming up with a conspiracy theory to try and foment xenophobia with respect to the Chinese has just as much factual support as taking Clorox.
He can't just sit back and let the doctors and the scientists do their jobs. He's got to chime in.
He may pick up the conspiracy theory that this was some weapon.
People don't keep bats in captivity. Complete baloney.
We don't need to invoke conspiracy theories.
This is just another example of the president trying to change the narrative from his own failings.
The problem for President Trump is that he's running for re-election, is looking for ways to deflect blame for the performance of the administration.
If you look at the evolution of the virus in bats and what's out there now, it's very, very strongly leaning towards this could not have been artificially or deliberately manipulated.
So I wanted to ask, are you still confident that it developed naturally?
No, actually, that's the point that I said. No, I'm not convinced about that. I think that we should continue to investigate what went on in China.
In the wake of news that 3 patients from the Wuhan Institute of Virology were treated in November of 2019 after exhibiting coronavirus symptoms, many in the media have suddenly begun to revisit the idea that the virus could have originated in a lab. And finally, an article from the Federalist states, Biden's anti-gun ATF pick says he supports ban on AR-15s. President Joe Biden's pick to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives told legislators on Wednesday that he supports a ban on AR-15s.
Mr. Chipman, a minute ago, Senator Whitehouse asked you if any of your views on guns are out of step with the majority of the American people. The AR-15 is one of, if not the most popular rifle in America. It's not a machine gun. It's a rifle. Your public position is that you want to ban AR-15s. Is that correct?
Senator, thank you for the question, and thank you for our visit yesterday and offering me a Dr. Pepper. It made me reminisce about my time in Central Texas. But now to your question. With respect to the AR-15, I support a ban as has been presented in a Senate bill and supported by the President.
Chipman previously called for an assault weapons ban in a House Judiciary Committee hearing in 2019. Previously in the hearing, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa likened confirming Chipman to, quote, putting Antifa in charge of the Portland Police Department. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for May 28th, 2021. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.